Watch Who? Hello, and welcome to Watch Who, a Doctor Who podcast. I'm Mark.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm a Doctor Who fan.
And I'm new to watching Who.
Watching for the very first time.
Very first time.
And we are here recording in person.
Hooray! Hi.
I don't know what to say. I do not know what to say.
This is going to be really chaotic, I think.
Yeah. So we have just watched Delta and the Bannermen.
Yeah, oh gosh, yeah, we have.
We're here in Sarah's flat, by the way.
Yeah, we're here in my flat in Wales.
Because on Sunday we're going to a convention, an event. This will be Sarah's first ever convention. And you've always said you won't travel, so so it's in Barry, which is not very far.
I said I wouldn't travel very far. I said I'd have to wait until it was something later on in it that there's no spoilers for me and it's actually worth going. And it couldn't be like me going overnight for like 3 days somewhere. No,
so this is just a really small
a toe in the water
event.
The toe is being dipped.
So we've got Wendy Padbury and Fraser Hines are the people that you're going to know. So we need to work this out. We need to work out, like, are you going to get a photo on your own?
Oh my God!
Are we going to get one together? You're having a photo. I don't think it's professional photo. I think it's like selfie. So we can't get squash face Sarah, unfortunately. But like, should we have one together, or what do you want to do? We need to work all this out.
Oh my gosh!
I've got some things to
Can we do
decide.
that over breakfast? Can we decide over breakfast?
Okay.
We've booked breakfast already. We're going to the Ivy.
But we've got to get
together.
We're getting some pictures.
It's not just me, because I can't hide my face, love.
Well, I could take the picture. I could take the picture of you and Jamie and Zoe.
Oh my gosh! Can you not be there too?
Okay, maybe. Well, we'll work that out. But okay. Very excited about that.
Yeah.
So while we're here, we have obviously watched some Doctor Who.
Yeah.
With a takeaway.
Like the old times, if you go back to some of our early episodes, that's how it all began.
I was very excited to watch Delta and the Bannermen with you.
Yeah, you were. Oh, do we just get into this now?
Okay. Well, I quite like this one.
I know. That surprised me.
I know, and I said last week, I didn't really like Paradise Towers very much because it was very... Silly, over the top.
This was way more over the top.
This was very different, and I'm really surprised. I get a feeling that you don't really like it.
It's not that I didn't like it. It was just, there were so many implausible elements. And actually, maybe it's because in the one last week, we're in the future. So people obviously, if things are happening, I kind of accept that, like, people might understand this more. Whereas this was set in the past. And he'd be like, oh yeah, just this crystal I'm going. The mechanic just goes in and gets it out, no issues. He's like, this is like an unusual system. He's like, you're just all right, yeah, oh, here's your crystal. What's his name? The director of the Barry place.
Oh yeah, the guy that's running the holiday camp.
He was the first to start questioning things like, but I was like, thank God someone is. And then with the Americans.
Well, like in the rest of the stories that we've done so far, these aren't very highly regarded. So this one, again, would be at the bottom of the polls.
Yeah.
And has a reputation for being, well, as it is. But
I don't know what it was. Because you're right, last week's was silly. And I don't know why I didn't have the same sort of enthusiasm for this week's silly. Other than, at least last week, I'd say 80% of the acting was strong. This week, it felt like 80% of the acting was weak.
Okay, I can see that. And I'm watching it through now, I can see why a lot of it doesn't actually make sense.
When you're watching it with someone else, I'm going, what do they do? What are you on about?
But as like a light-hearted piece of television, I think it's fun.
So just after watching this, we're waiting for things to charge. So we put on...
Space Babies,
because I haven't watched it yet. And it's funny that, like, that is so silly. And I said to you, I was like, but I can enjoy this silly because the acting from Ruby and the Doctor and the nanny was so strong that it kind of carries over the silliness.
And like the space baby we had in Dara and the Bannerman.
Oh my god.
With Mel screaming.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of space baby.
But like even Delta to some extent, I found from the start it was quite wooden. And it took me a while to work out whether it was like an intentional that's her character, or was it just a bit...
I think it's her character.
Do you think?
Well, should we go... What do you want to do? Sort of the story or go through the characters?
Oh, it's all going out of order, isn't it?
Maybe the characters in this one.
I need to get a picture of you with that microphone.
Okay, I've got like a handheld mic and I'm sort of waving it in our faces.
Yeah, so...
I feel like I'm interviewing you.
I know. I feel like I'm being interviewed by you. So, for listeners, I just opened a bag that I've not opened for like 2 years, and in it was a really, really expensive microphone. This wireless that I have no idea where I've got it from. Like I said to Mark, I was like, I can't give it back to anyone. I don't know where it's come from. And no one's asked me about it for 2 years. So... At least 2 years, because I've seen this in at least 3 places that I've worked, this exact microphone. Mainly because I told them to buy it. So I know that, I know this microphone's good, and I know...
It's very good, it's a Rode.
It's a Rode, and so anyway, I was like...
For, going out and about.
Yeah, it's a wireless going about. We'll probably record it for Barry, for coffee members.
Let's take this to Barry, yeah.
Yeah, take it to Barry. But anyway... So I was looking, so I sent it to Mark, I've got this. And the funny thing is, we did that whole thing in London, struggling with microphones. Just on my phone.
Oh my God. I got some mini ones, but they were like Bluetooth things that weren't
and
amazing.
I dissed the whole time.
And I did this quality mic the whole time.
But I would return it to wherever I got it from if I knew which place I got. I'd have no idea. So, if anyone is listening and knows you're missing your microphone after 2-3 years, whatever it might be, I've got it. Just ask me. But in the meantime, I've bought this wireless mic setup, which is hilarious. And Mark is literally interviewing me.
Okay, so Dare on the Bannermen.
Oh, yeah, that.
You're not enthusiastic about this one.
Look, do you know what? I really, really wanted to love it because... It's in Wales.
Yeah, exactly. And the music and stuff, I thought you'd like that.
The music almost hindered it. Do you not think?
I mean, it was quite over the top, the incidental music, but I meant the music in it, all the 50s.
Oh, that bit,
stuff.
Great. It's the incidental music. It almost made it silly. That's what added to the silliness, really. As soon as we saw Ken Dodd, I was like, what's going on? And also... For me, this story just had so much lack of explanation throughout of anything. Yeah. So he's there. I'm like, where are we? And he's like, you're the 10th billionth, whatever it was. And he keeps going, yeah, but the charges are, no charges. You're going to Disneyland on Earth in 1953 or whatever it was. And then sometimes I like that it moves quickly and it's we're not explaining stuff. But there's levels of no explaining
stuff. This moved very quickly and there was lots of elements. So you've got... Delta running away from her people and that green man being shot and all of that. And then we cut to Ken Dodd and all of that. And then we cut to those 2 American guys. They're the bit that I don't like in this, actually. Those 2 American guys.
They don't bring anything.
Hi there. We weren't going anywhere.
Where is the Cimarron Queen?
Oh, beats me, Chief.
If you remove them from the story, nothing changes.
And when I first watched the story, I didn't get that they were supposed to be in the 50s. I thought that was the 80s. And I was like, why is there a TARDIS there? Why is that guy wearing modern NYC cap and thing? That's not the 50s. That just looks like someone from the 80s.
Yeah.
In his hat and cap. It's not historical. It doesn't really explain it.
It's so
And those
weird.
guys, it just cuts back to those guys all the time. That's the bit that I don't think needs to be in it. But
I
all the
didn't
other stuff...
understand. Their whole thing for being there was the White House sent them about a ship thing. It added nothing.
I think what actually was supposed to happen was... So the holiday bus goes off into space and Mel loves a holiday. All she wants is a holiday.
That's all she's trying for every
this is
week.
Her story arc, holiday.
Oh, let's go, Doctor. Please agree.
Mel's holiday.
So she goes off in the bus and is rocking around the clock and stuff.
Yeah.
With all of them, absolutely loving it with their little hand.
Do you know what it reminded me
luggage.
of? What was the one with the silver suits and they're on the aeroplane?
The faceless one? No.
The one with the woman with... What was her name that we named her?
Nightmare of Eden. Yeah. What's it, Maggie?
Maggie. For some reason, that whole thing reminded me of that thing with Maggie. And then there was
holiday.
Yeah. It just all reminded me of that. And then with the screaming woman at the front, I was like, it's Maggie.
So they crash into the satellite, which is like a spy satellite or something, which the American guys are supposed to be tracking. So then they get the call to be like, the satellite's disappeared or
That's
gone
not
off
explained
because the
in
bus
any way.
crashed.
All I saw was that the bus I thought, actually, that they crashed into something of the Bannermen or whatever he's called.
But then the Bannermen are following Delta because Delta nips on the megabus to space. She escapes with her handbag and her egg.
She literally has her handbag and the egg.
Okay, later on she has that massive black handbag, which she must have got from the 50s. She did not have that handbag before.
She must have borrowed it from Mel.
Yeah, but Mel had a suitcase.
Yeah, but she also managed to share clothes with her.
Yeah, and they are not the same size.
No,
Delta's like twice the size of Mel with that skirt.
I know. It's very odd.
It's really odd. Anyway, so
nothing is explained well in a story.
So those are the American guys.
Sorry, just going on that, just while we're very briefly on it, Mel and Delta. So the last dialogue we have is her with a gun, like, can I trust you? Then we see Mel and the doctor, she's like, I'm really worried about it, and she has a gun. And then the next thing, she's like, oh, thanks for showing your clothes to me. She was like, what if you help a girl out?
Yes.
I was like, what have we missed? What happened from, like, the gun and Mel's concern to be like, oh, thanks for lending me your dress. Oh, no problem, love, yeah. I'm happy to help a girl out in distress. Or whatever. I was like, how have we got to this point? What was the dialogue? What was the moment? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just don't know what to say. Nothing was explained.
Mel, if there's a holiday, like murder or a holiday situation, Mel is there. On the Proro one, on the spaceship, she was helping everybody out in that and everything. Paradise Towers. Now,
she was in with the old ladies having cake. Yeah,
she just gets in there on holiday and helps any holiday situation out. She's like a holiday rep, isn't she? There's a lot of cutback because there's so many characters. For 3 episodes.
Well, I thought it was 4. When you said 3, I was overjoyed. I'd forgotten.
Okay, there's the dance that first night.
Yeah.
Because this all happens in like 24 hours. Billy falls in love with Delta and becomes an alien and goes off and becomes
weird.
like stepdad in like 24 hours.
What made it weirder, right, is if you didn't have May... Was it May? Ray. We're not editing any of this. This will be a full wonker, I'm telling you now. Right. If you didn't have Ray... Ray, to me, is another bit of a pointless character. She's only there to help, like, to be with the Doctor because Mel's with other people. That is literally it.
Well, she's got a bit of a love story and all the stuff with Billy and everything.
But it just doesn't need to go. It doesn't go anywhere. She comes because she knows Billy. She's like, oh, I thought we'd be a thing. I've known him since we're kids. He's living his best life. He's a mechanic. He sings in the band. It's not even like he sees. She's like, oh, yeah, Ray. It's May again.
What's that reality show? What is it? Not Love is Blind. Love at First...
Actually, not Love Actually. Love Island.
Is there could be Love Island. Billy could be on Love Island. I was thinking of, what's the one where, like, Love at First Sight or First
Dates?
First Date? I don't know.
I don't know. There's a lot of dating shows.
There's a reality show where they meet and they get married, like, straight away.
Oh, Love at First Sight, I think that is.
Love at First Sight. That's Billy and Delta, basically.
Yeah,
He literally just sits next to her once, and that's it.
He sees her on the balcony. He
first sees her on the balcony, then he sits down with her in the canteen.
And she smiles. And then she's like, oh, thanks for helping me out.
And then he's dedicating the song, and then he's taking her drugs, and off they go.
If anything, kids, it's a recipe for how not to live a life.
I like Ray, though, actually. I think she's quite fun.
Ray? Yeah.
Yeah. When she's, like, crying in the towel room and stuff. I think she's quite funny.
I don't know. I couldn't. It was so over the top Welsh.
This is which I've not noticed before until you've pointed it out.
Sorry.
She accepts everything. Like, she's like, oh, hi, doctor, or whatever. And they're like, oh, we've got to grow the crystal and everything. She's like, oh, yeah, see you at the dance tonight after you grow the crystal and everything. And then that man gets blown up and she's like, oh, yeah, he's been ionised. And then she's just off on her bike helping. And
the only thing she's ever brought, right, at the very start, she had the right spanner. And the doctor goes, what do you have in that bag? She's like, well, Billy says prepare for everything. And that's it. After that, he's like, oh, and we're going to do this really complex scientific thing. She goes, all right, yeah. In like this really over-the-top Welsh accent. And okay, do you know what? There's a lot to fit in 3 episodes. I get that. Things you could cut, the Americans.
Yeah, the Americans can go. Absolutely.
That gives you some budget. You haven't got some people to pay for or actors, and you can put some more of that into longer dialogue or explaining of things.
Because Billy goes to give Delta flowers, and she's just there with her baby.
She's there with a baby.
Green baby. And he's not
also,
bothered.
Like, you don't see them talk at dinner.
No, they just smile.
Right? They just smile. To me, that looked like, this'll be the start of something, but he's just been friendly and sitting with her, and she's like, oh, someone nice sitting with me. That's it. Then he dedicates a song to her. You're like, oh, that's a bold move. Maybe he's making his intentions. And then the next thing, she's there with her baby. She's like, well, if you need to know everything about me, you better sit down.
And he's there all night.
What point did, you two have any conversation where it led to, come over, I've got some stuff to tell you. I might not be what you think. She's like, come in, sit down. I'll update you on everything. I'm like, what did we miss?
What did we miss? We missed a lot.
Do you know what we got instead? The bloody Americans.
In their little...
Tent.
Yeah.
That caught fire very easily. The bee guy
the bee guy turns up.
He's ridiculous, but I kind of love him.
Wales' finest honey.
But I was thinking right throughout, how he helps them out with the honey and everything. And he has all these random speeches, but thinking about it, if you want to go into the text of this thing,
is that what we ever do?
He talks about the bee, and bees make honey and pollinate and all of the queen bee and stuff. And you've got Delta is the queen, the last queen.
Yeah.
So
yes,
the last queen.
What you think? Are you thinking of a RuPaul thing? Yeah, I knew you were. Fucking knew it.
2 queens stand before me.
The singing time is near.
She's the last queen. and then
Just for listeners at home, about 4 years ago, Mark had never watched an episode of RuPaul's Drag Race. Just saying, continue.
She's the queen, the queen bee.
Yeah.
And then Billy comes along and helps pollinate and goes off to pollinate the new species. And the bee guy has that speech at the end where he's reading his book and he's saying, and they go off and pollinate.
Yeah.
So I think, one, the honey's there to fall over on all the bad guys, which is silly. But also the bee guy is there to do some kind of layer to the script, if you really want to look at it that way, about bees and Ray and Billy and everyone. Not Ray, Delta.
Oh, don't mix them two up, Mark.
But going back to Delta, I think she's playing it wooden because she's an alien and she's sticking out in amongst all of the happy 50s people. She's playing it serious. There's no character there.
But to me, she improved when she was standing out amongst the people. That initial scene when she's on the planet is really awkward.
Oh, that first scene's not great, no.
It's awful. And that's the worst. That whole thing is when I was like, is this really our lead?
Keeping on with Delta, her baby. So, one, we have that surprise green baby.
Yeah, that makes...
Which Mel screamed straight
Mel
away. Of course. She hasn't screamed as much in this one,
Do you know what? I was thinking about this the other day. It's really hard to scream. Can you, scream?
Well, not really. I think the last time I screamed was when I killed that bird in the doorway.
We laugh.
Not to give it like a Mel.
I can't do it. I don't think I can do it. I literally stopped myself from doing it.
It's like an unnatural thing to...
I can't do it.
Yeah.
I cannot scream.
Yeah.
What would have to scare me? No, I can't do it. Literally, my body cannot do it.
Scream.
Yeah, and it's a high-pitched scream.
That's a high-pitched scream in a very small room. I would not want to be standing next to Mel.
Because Mel's a singer, isn't she?
Well, Bonnie Langford.
Yeah. That's what... I think my body stops me from screaming because I'm a trained singer. And it's that's dangerous for your voice.
Well, they asked her to scream in the key of F or whatever for the closing credits, so that must be even more difficult.
And it's just... I literally... I can't scream. I can scream. If there's a scenario and I need to scream, I can scream. But my body could do it, but I can't make myself scream.
You scream more if it's like a jump scare kind of thing. You might go, ugh.
Yeah, I'm more like a, that.
Yeah. But not like a, ah, like Mel.
I can't do it. I sound like the siren child.
Oh, yeah, Delta's child. So that was a bit weird. I mean, you laughed when the first Green Baby, well, Green Baby number 2, live baby.
Live, oh my God, live baby cracked me.
And actually,
honestly, it looked like we've run out of budget and now we have to use the baby. That is exactly, if you hadn't gone, oh, that is like intentional, like it's growing, I'd have been like, they've just run out of money.
Maybe this is why we have all the cut scenes of dialogue, because we can't see them chatting through the night, because we can't see the baby change from...
We only see it change once. We have that one change.
When she goes into the final...
Yeah.
We see that, but the other times it's like they cut through, don't they?
Yeah.
But they don't bother putting the green makeup on very well on some of the middle kids.
They really don't. My theory is it was quite warm, because it looks quite sunny.
It was actually for Wales. It's quite sunny.
Yeah. It's been sunny today here. What are you on about?
Yeah. There's actually quite a lot of mud when they're going on the motorbikes, though.
Yeah. It's very Welsh. Although, that said, no, it feels like it's... When you see that resort, I was like, that's Barry.
Yeah, I think it's all been built over now, the actual
I think I
place
know
where
where
they
it
filmed.
is.
We should go and find it when we go to Barry.
God, that's like a whole day's trek in itself, isn't it? It's bad enough I'm going to a convention.
So, were there any things you did like in this?
I really liked the villain. I thought he was really good.
Who will stop me? You? With your puny flag.
I see the thing. Yeah, he is good. He plays it seriously.
He plays it really well
as a villain, but he's a very cartoony villain.
But I don't think that's... I think he does a really good job of grounding it as a villain.
But I thought he slowed it down whenever he had scenes.
But is it because everyone else...
I really like that pace.
I mean, at one point I thought the Benny Hill theme tune was going to come on. Honestly, the music in this was just... Good things, Sarah, come on. What was good? Right. I enjoyed the villain. What else did I enjoy? I'm struggling here. I did enjoy Mel in it.
Mel always... I mean, okay, her acting sometimes is a bit OTT. We've said this every time. I'll say it every time.
But it worked in this.
She livens up the scenes and she's getting everyone going. She's off on her own. She's not really with the Doctor very much.
No.
The Doctor and Mel are very separate.
Yeah.
Because there's so many cast members for them to interact with. And she has like 3 outfit changes as well.
Oh,
she's loving the dance. She gets her holiday.
Yeah.
But she also gets everyone rallied up and helps out. And she's bouncing up and down in that sidecar.
Oh my gosh, that made me laugh. That did make me laugh.
I think I like it because of the pace of the adventure. It doesn't stop. There's no slow bits.
Okay, the other thing I like, Mark,
yeah,
is that it's 3 episodes.
Yeah, well, for 3 episodes, it packs it in.
It does, and I'm wondering whether you enjoyed it because it was 3 episodes and therefore the story gets through at a pace, because it has to.
Well, because the thing is, with
Last week was
Paradise
4,
Towers... Yeah, but Paradise Towers, there was all those slow moments, the cleaning machines going along, capturing people, all the Kangs doing their hellos and explaining. Here, it's like, we've landed, we're at the holiday camp, the Bannermen are on the way, okay, let's round everyone up, come on, let's go, let's get this done. I think I quite like that, because it is silly, as we've had last week and the week before, but it's a different pace, and I quite like that.
I don't know. Maybe we've just watched 2 potentially silly stories back to back.
Well, this is what, criticism of Space Babies.
Yeah.
But then Delta and the Bannermen did it 20 years, 30 years before.
And if we're talking about pace, that first episode packs in a lot because it does the whole story of the Doctor in a brief overview. In Space Babies now. Very brief overview of like, this is me, these are things, dropping in things throughout. So the pace of that story, but it has moments of pause. It has moments of like, it gives you chance to digest what's happening. There wasn't a point watching that where I was like, even if the Doctor hasn't figured it out yet, that's okay. But when he does, I understand what's going on. We get the flashbacks. You get all those moments to go, oh, this is why this is happening. And that did not happen in Delta and the whatever it was, the Bannermen.
Delta and the Space Babies.
I nearly said Delta and the Space Babies. Delta and the Bannermen.
The only bit where it slowed down in Delta was when the Doctor came face to face with, I can't remember his name.
Eating his meat.
Eating his meat. Eating his meat.
Literally eating his meat.
And he had a bit of his angry moment, and the angry doctor came out.
Yeah.
Because otherwise he's just wandering around being quite silly throughout. He's in control and he knows what's going on.
Well, he's not being silly. I think but it moves the banner, and they're never explained. That was the strangest part for me. They're like, the Bannermen are coming. Oh, we got to... And even Mel's like, yep, all right. Like, and I was just like, what? Have we met them before?
No.
It's so weird, the pace. There's no like, oh, the Banner... Or...
Well, the doctor just knows, doesn't he? He sees Delta and he's like, oh, I think she's in trouble.
Yeah, but even then, it's not explained who... There's no conversation where he goes, you look different. Like, where are you from? Or there's nothing, Mark. And then it was just... Oh, and the Bannermen are coming. Everyone's like, oh, right, yeah, we're going to get going. There's pace, and then there's absolutely no story.
Then there is still... And there's some shocking moments. The whole bus and everybody gets blown up.
But let's talk about, like, slowing down points. We've already talked the Americans. The other one was them going to all the if you're going to keep a pace like that, they went to every beauty spot.
On a very slow motorbike.
On a very slow motorbike that's obviously not on, for nothing. Is it here? No, I can't see his bike anywhere. In a ridiculous... That's terrible. That's a terrible Welsh accent, and I've lived here long enough to do better. Oh, I haven't seen anywhere in... This bike's not around here. Oh, well, we better get going. Bit more dialogue, though, just to pad out this scene and just make use of the camera setup that they've done. Okay, I'm going to jump back on and stick my legs out. Off we slowly go. Unnecessary. If you're going to have pace like that, you wanted to know exactly where they've gone to. You want to go... You need to just go... There's a few beauty spots, but I know which one you'll have gone and taken her to, you know. So, and off they go.
It could have been a two-parter, I suppose, if you cut out a lot of the opening the field gates and shutting them. Going up
there was
and down.
So much of that, yeah.
Lots of motorbikes.
It was weird. I don't know. I don't know what the choice was to do that. It was very odd. It's like
I think it's interesting the mix of the 50s.
I'm going
with
a 4 out of 10 for me.
It's like I like the mix. We haven't had a story that's sort of historical but alien all mixed up for a while. We haven't had that.
I agree.
It feels like a fresh change.
Yeah, I agree, and I enjoyed that. Apart from, I wish it had just been done better. That's all. And that gets 4 because you like it, and I just don't want to hurt your feelings by giving it a 3.
Okay, who's your favourite character?
Oh, gosh. The beekeeper.
Yeah, I like the beekeeper.
Yeah.
And you said Billy looked like Stephen Mulhern. The young Stephen Mulhern is Billy.
He did. Also, now this is a proper niche throw. So you know, what's he called? The guy that owns the park and he's talking to all of his staff.
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
Totally unnecessary scene, right? So there's a guy at the front... Right, and I want to look up who he is. He's like, well, I'll stay behind with you. And
he does the announcement, yeah.
Yeah. I want to find out his name because he has a look of Callum Howells, who's from Wales. Like, he's Welsh, he lives in the valleys and it's a sin and all that. He has kind of a look of him. And I was like, I wonder if he's a relative of the past. Because he's Welsh, the actor's Welsh, obviously. Callum's from around here. And I wonder if, like, he's a previous relative of his. I'm going to look up that surname, whether it's the same surname.
Okay, we'll do that. We'll see. You just reminded me, actually, as well. And I didn't realise, actually, I looked at the credits on this. I didn't realise they did this story. I thought it was some later ones. So I was going to take you later on. My mum went to art college with the costume designer.
Really?
Yeah, they were best friends at school.
Oh, no way.
At the college, and they had lunch together. So
should have got to get you some Delta originals.
Yeah. I'll tell you that full story a bit later on.
Okay.
But I didn't realise he did this, so it must have been his first one. So he's responsible for all of the costumes in this, my mum's friend.
I didn't think the costumes were terrible apart from the flags.
Yeah, the Bannerman flags and the Bannerman glasses, actually.
I didn't mind that because it made it feel like... It made it feel futuristic.
Actually, my worst, this is like Clothes Watch bad.
Yeah.
Which we don't really do we? Oh, yeah, we do.
It can stand out for many reasons.
It's the New York guy I cannot get over. If I had to change anything in this whole story, script, acting, anything, I would change that guy's hat and coat, the NYC.
But Mark, we need to know he's American.
That's the thing. That's what they always do. They just go over the top, don't they?
Yeah.
He doesn't need to be like... He could just be in a normal thing and explain it in the script. Not that the script really explained what they were doing.
No.
But the other guy was so, like, period time. And then this other guy was in his 80s. I just can't get over that. It really messes up the whole story for me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's my mum's friend, the costume designer.
I was waiting for you to call that one, I'll be honest. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, it felt cheap to me. There's a lot of cheap, like, throwouts in
I think this was all on location. Actually, at the place. Like,
yeah, it probably
there's no
was.
studio. I don't think any of it was studio.
I'm trying to... No, because they open
It's
up
all
on
like
that.
outside.
I reckon the stuff with Ken Dodd was on.
I think that was a warehouse in Wales.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure, because there's like news footage of all the newspapers coming to talk to Ken Dodd. He came over and filmed it overnight somewhere. Yeah, I think it's all... Yeah, I think it's all location, this one.
Interesting. No, it's just the story. It's just a lack of any form of explanation for me.
Well, at least it was only 3. He didn't have a whole another episode. Not that I don't know where it would have gone.
Well, speaking of, what's next?
Oh, okay.
Oh,
right.
hang on. I know what I was going to say. It was about... We had... That was disappointing for me. So, the Americans are made to sound and look really, really American, right? The Welsh, it was really over-the-top Welsh.
She's not Welsh. Ray is not Welsh. She's putting on an accent.
It's so... The whole thing's just so corny over the top.
But I think the Americans are American. I think they are. I think he's a big American film person.
I don't think one of them is, for sure. One of them, it sounded like a put on American accent.
I think that's Stubby. What's his name? Stubby, man. He's called Stubby something. I'm pretty sure he was called Stubby.
Stubby
Brown. We'll call him Stubby Brown. Stubby Brown, I think, is American. I think that's an American name.
It's a terrible name.
I think it is Stubby Brown. I think that is his name.
It's something like that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember it from the credits. It's something like Stubby, you're right, and then like a general colour of clan. Stubby Violet.
Stubby Violet. Oh, that's what I was going to say.
Go
the
on.
beekeeper man. Did you ever visit a beekeeper? As I point the microphone in. Have you ever visited one?
Tell me, have you ever visited a beekeeper?
Well, I have actually.
Oh,
thanks for asking. we had a school trip.
Yeah.
Just around the corner from our primary school was the local beekeeper.
Of course.
He made honey in his house, and when I worked at the co-op, he brought in his honey. We had jars of his local honey that we sold in the local co-op.
Interesting.
But we all went round, like he invited like whole class round at a time. And he talked all about the honey and everything. And then we had to write thank you letters to the beekeeper saying, thank you for letting us round your house.
Must have been inundated.
And we all drew like, honey and bees and stuff. And he reminded me of the guy in this.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, and what's his name? Billy.
Yeah.
I mean, suddenly he's having a beekeeping lesson halfway through this, isn't
Again,
he?
there are so many
And I think
strange...
that's real bees.
Yeah, I think it is at that point.
And poor Delta and the girl sitting there with no protection on or anything. He's got his beekeeper hat on and stuff. She's sitting there in her onesie, going to get stoned to death.
I know. Well, no, they do put the stuff on them to calm them.
What is
The
that?
gas.
Steam?
Yeah, it's gas. I can't remember, like...
Oh my God, sorry.
Go on.
Talking about bees. Now we're talking about bees.
Oh, here we go.
There's a great series on the CBBC channel.
Right, about
There's
bees.
some great programming on CBBC, I have to say. It's called Show Me the Honey, I think it's called. No, I think it is.
Show me the honey!
And, like, sets of kids they follow them over a year and they give them, like, beehive and they have to make their own honey.
Oh!
And they, some of them went wrong and, like, they have to, like, over winter and stuff, look after them and get them honey and make the honey. And then they have, like, a tasting thing. And then Ainsley Harriott comes on and he tastes the honey and they get, like, the prize at the end, all these, like, different families.
Because the
like,
way that honey...
making honey.
Well,
Because it depends where you are and where they get its different flavours.
Flavours
from the different
flowers.
plants.
Yeah.
So all these different people across the country get different flavours of honey.
Yeah. I was just thinking when you were talking about your primary school honey, did you get hay fever as a kid?
I got hay fever a little bit later on, sort of mid-primary school.
Oh, no. Because local honey is supposed to help. If you get honey from your local area, that's supposed to help.
I don't like honey.
So, well, I'm not a massive fan, but I can put it in things. I used to have a spoonful every day, though.
For hay fever?
No, I had it for my voice. I used to have Manuka. My dad used to give me a spoonful of Manuka honey in hot water every morning. If you get your local honey, because of the reason it gets all the flowers, yeah, that's supposed to help with hay fever.
I had like summer asthma.
I don't know if that... Put honey on it! Oh, wife's tale. Just put some honey on it.
No, hay fever. I haven't had hay fever for a while, actually.
Because
it comes and goes.
Yeah, I very rarely get it. It must be a particular pollen. But when I do get it, and because I've often thought there is there's nothing obvious in the bay that I know of. There's some honey somewhere really random, actually. There's an office that has some honey in town. Anyway, that's a whole side thing. But there is in Canton a local beekeeper. Yeah, because we used to have his at the pub.
That's nice.
And I often thought, maybe I should get his honey. It's not like it's as local as I reckon I could get.
Yeah.
Because local honey is supposed to help with hay fever.
I remember playing in long grass with Ross one summer. Like we were playing like.
Sorry, that line reminds me of what's her name, Theresa May in the wheat field.
I was playing in long grass. We were playing.
And Theresa was in the long fields.
We were playing K9s in the long grass in the summer. God. And Ross got really bad because of the long grass and everything. Got really bad. Like his eyes swelled up and he could hardly breathe and he had to get taken home emergency. It's like his eyes were puffing out.
Oh my gosh.
From we were playing in the grass. I think I was all right, but Ross wasn't. Well, there we are.
What's next, Mark? What's next?
I'm so glad there's a beekeeper in this episode. It's got us talking longer.
You're welcome, listeners. You're welcome.
We haven't even talked about holiday camps, but I've never been on one of those holiday camps, so...
Same.
Yeah, I don't really know.
Same.
But I'm sure it's like Butlins now, isn't it? I've never been to a Butlins.
Or Centre Parks.
Oh, I've only been once for the day. But I would love to go to a Centre Parks.
Just don't go in half term.
No.
It's 4 times the price.
Haven't they got a swimming pool with the rapids?
They're all slightly different. But yeah.
Oh, wow.
I want to go to the one at Knowsley so I can go to the safari park as well.
But there we are. Right. Well, I think that's all we've got on Delta of the Bannermen.
That is yeah. I hope you've enjoyed this, listeners. You marked together again.
Yes. And we had pizza today.
We did, yeah, Francomanca.
Yeah, recommend that pizza.
Mark, yours looked really good. You had the halloumi and peppers, didn't you?
Yeah, healthy option.
I did not have healthy. I had the hot salami.
Well, the next story is only 3 as well. I think.
Only 3 again?
Yeah. It's 4s and 3s now.
Oh, great. I mean, I'm all for it. Bring it.
It's called Dragonfire.
I was going to say, sounds Welsh, but we've just done a Welsh one.
Well, it does a bit, yeah. Well, okay, yeah. Well, we will. I'm sure we'll update people. We'll do a little special episode for members on our convention experience.
Yeah, God help
coming
us.
up, but I'm sure we'll mention it next week as well. And in the meantime, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at 2watchwho, or support us at buymeacoffee.com/2watchwho.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next week for Dragonfire.
Bye.
Bye.